All right, folks, buckle up because today we are diving headfirst into a world of self-proclaimed heroism and some, well, questionable alliances.
Oh, this sounds promising.
Because we're cracking open the legendary writings of Maximilian von Peerless IV.
That's a name and a half, all right.
Right. This guy, you've got to love him, declares himself the chosen hero right off the bat.
Chosen hero, huh?
Huh.
All right, I'm already intrigued. That's a bold claim. We'll see if his actions back that up.
Oh, you are gonna love this. It's like, I don't know, like if someone took Monty Python and the Holy Grail,
Okay,
threw in a dash of Lord of the Rings,
enough following.
and then like filtered it all through the lens of a nobleman who has a, shall we say, very high opinion of himself.
I can get behind that.
So we've got excerpts from his grand adventures, but thankfully, we've also got these footnotes from, I guess you'd call him like a narrator,
Okay.
who seems to have a much better grasp on reality.
A voice of reason, perhaps.
You got it. So we've got this ragtag party of adventurers, alliances that definitely raise some eyebrows,
That always makes things interesting.
and enough goblins, wolves, and even reanimated skeletons to keep you on the edge of your seat.
Sounds like my kind of party.
So before we get into all that mayhem, let's meet our heroes, shall we say.
Let's do it.
All right, first up we have Atreus, Maximilian Squire, the poor guy,
The long-suffering sidekick.
who seems to be the only one with, like, a shred of common sense.
Gotta have one of those in the group.
Then there's Kazuhiro Kokubo, but everyone calls him the Hat Maker.
The Hat Maker. Now there's a name that sparks curiosity.
So this guy, aside from his apparent skill with hats,
Of course.
also has this teeny tiny ability to, or transform into a fearsome demon.
Wait, hold on. Did you just say transform into a demon?
I did, just a minor detail.
Okay, that changes things. A demon in disguise. Now, that's an interesting wrinkle. I'm guessing this isn't just a fashion statement.
Oh, no, definitely not. But hold on, because it gets even better. We've also got Harrow, Tiefling Spellcaster.
Always a wild card.
Her approach to magic I would describe as
Go on.
enthusiastically destructive.
Okay, so not exactly the subtle type.
Not even a little bit.
All right, I'm liking this party already.
And then we have Fawn, an elf who can shapeshift into a wolf.
Shapeshifter's always a good time. Adds a whole other layer of intrigue to the mix.
Right.
All right, lay it on me. What's Maximilian's first grand adventure?
So it all starts with Maximilian and his infinite generosity, gracing Atreus with his presence on Atreus's already-in-progress quest.
Of course, because why wouldn't every quest need Maximilian's unique talents?
Right. They meet up at this bustling caravan depot in Arabelle and then head to the Paladin Guild Hall where they run into the Hat Maker.
Okay, the plot thickens.
So Maximilian, being Maximilian, decides to try and, bond with the Hat Maker by bragging about his old hat,
Makes sense.
which has, wait for it, a dragon painted on it.
A dragon, huh? Bold choice.
The Hat Maker, who again can turn into a literal demon, is, well, less than impressed.
I can imagine. Trying to impress a demon with a painted dragon. It's almost endearing.
Right. But those footnotes really highlight just how clueless Maximilian is.
They're like our little reality checks, keeping us grounded amidst the chaos.
Exactly. So anyway, they set off with this caravan, and naturally, there's some drama.
Couldn't be an adventure without it.
The caravan leader, this halfling named Gib, has the audacity to ask them to pay for protection.
Oh, the nerve.
Atreus manages to talk him down by mentioning their Paladin Guild connection.
A smart move.
But Maximilian, he is outraged.
I can only imagine.
How dare this lowly halfling even suggest such a thing when he, a nobleman, is gracing them with his presence?
Ah, yes, the classic "do you know who I am" approach.
Well,
Always effective.
Totally. So as they're traveling, surprise, surprise, they run into some bandits who demand a toll.
Of course they do.
Most people would, try to negotiate or something.
Or at least assess the situation.
But not Maximilian. He sees this as the perfect opportunity to show off his divine hero powers.
Oh, this is going to be good.
He charges into battle against these armed bandits.
Armed bandits, you say?
Completely unprepared.
Oh, he's got it.
Swings wildly, misses every single attack.
Every single...
The footnotes helpfully point out that the bandits are, wearing armor.
minor detail.
And that Maximilian's combat skills leave a lot to be desired.
I was wondering about that. So what happens next? Does he reconsider his strategy?
Not quite. Remember the Hat Maker and his little demon transformation?
Oh, yeah.
It happens.
And showtime.
He goes full demon mode and just obliterates the bandits, slicing and dicing, the whole gruesome spectacle.
Okay, it escalated quickly.
Maximilian's completely unfazed. In fact, he seems kind of thrilled.
Of course he is. Who needs skill when you have a demon on your side?
Exactly. But before the adrenaline rush can wear off, Harrow joins the party.
Oh, this is where things get really interesting.
She unleashes her spells, and let's just say her aim needs some work.
I'm sensing some friendly fire in our future.
She almost takes out the whole party with a stray spell.
Classic Harrow.
Yeah.
Can't take her anywhere.
Maximilian, ever the strategic genius, ducks behind the biggest bandit to avoid getting hit.
Always thinking one step ahead.
And then, after the battle, he tries to claim all the loot.
Naturally.
Harrow is not having any of that.
Good for her. She may be chaotic, but she's no pushover.
So, as they settle down to rest, Maximilian, in a moment of, I guess you'd call it curiosity,
Okay.
tries to understand the Hatmaker's demon curse.
That's a conversation I'd love to be a fly on the wall for.
The Hatmaker explains that he was cursed while saving his village.
Noble sacrifice.
But they exiled him out of fear.
The classic hero's dilemma. Save the day, get shunned.
Maximilian immediately relates.
Oh, I bet he does.
Because, you see, he also initially thought about attacking the Hatmaker when he saw his demon form.
The irony is palpable.
Completely lost on him.
Well, that seems to be a recurring theme with Maximilian. Blind to his own flaws.
That's a talent, really.
You gotta admire the consistency. But it does raise an interesting point, doesn't it? Both the Hatmaker and Maximilian judged based on appearances, on fear.
You're hitting on something there. It makes you think about who gets to decide who the hero is, right?
Exactly. And whether true heroism is always recognized. A lot to unpack there.
For sure. But they've got a quest to get on with.
Right. Onwards and upwards. Or in this case, onwards and probably into more trouble.
Well, they set off again, and you are never going to guess what happens next.
Don't tell me more bandits.
Worse.
Okay. I'm officially intrigued. Hit me with it.
Goblins.
Oh, this is going to be good. Goblins, huh? And how does our chosen hero handle these mischievous creatures?
Let's just say it involves a lot of screaming, some questionable tactics, and a healthy dose of luck.
I'm already on the edge of my seat. Let's dive in. Tell me everything. Goblins, you say? Well, it seems our chosen hero has a talent for finding trouble. Or maybe trouble has a way of finding him.
Maybe a bit of both.
Either way, I'm all ears.
So picture this. They're trekking through this forest, right?
Yeah.
No horses, no wagon, thanks to the previous goblin encounter.
Right.
And suddenly they're surrounded by a pack of wolves,
Oh, lovely.
led by this massive alpha wolf, all teeth and snarls.
Classic fantasy trope. Gotta love it.
Right. So Maximilian, being Maximilian, starts issuing commands like, he's some great general.
Well, he is the chosen hero after all.
Exactly. But here's the thing. For some reason, the Hatmaker isn't turning into his demon form.
Interesting. Maybe he's got a cooldown period on that transformation.
Could be, right? Or maybe he's just choosing his battles.
Makes sense. Conserving energy, picking his moments.
Yeah, could be. So meanwhile, Maximilian decides to, take on the Alpha Gulf himself.
Oh, no.
He's convinced he can handle it with his divine powers.
This should be interesting.
Let's just say reality has a way of humbling even the most self-assured heroes.
I was about to say, I have a feeling those divine powers might not be as effective against a hungry wolf.
You would be right. The wolf sends Maximilian, sprawling flat on his back.
Not exactly a heroic image.
Don't worry, though. Our damsel in distress, hero, is saved by Fawn.
Fawn to the rescue. I'm sensing a pattern here. Maximilian seems to require a lot of rescuing.
It's definitely a theme. So Fawn rushes in, heals him with her elven magic, all very dramatic.
Gotta love a good healing scene.
But then, just when you think things are calming down, Harrow
Oh no, what did she do this time?
almost takes everyone out with one of her spells.
Classic Harrow. Can't take her anywhere without some collateral damage.
Maximilian, of course, claims that he, strategically positioned himself behind the Alpha Wolf to avoid the blast.
Strategic positioning? Or just plain luck? The world may never know.
The footnotes clarify that it was definitely luck.
As I suspect,
But they do finally manage to defeat the wolves, thanks in no small part to Fawn.
Fawn, MVP of this adventure.
She transforms into a wolf herself and takes down this goblin that was, lurking around.
Multitasking, taking care of business.
Maximilian, of course, immediately claims her as part of his pack.
Naturally. Can't let a good opportunity to assert dominance pass by.
Exactly. Oh, but you mentioned a door earlier.
Oh yeah, the stone door. What was the story with that?
This is a classic Maximilian moment.
Already.
They come across this massive stone door, and Maximilian, being Maximilian, decides to just, throw himself at it.
Subtlety is not his strong suit.
Not at all. He's trying to smash it open with his, divine strength.
Oh, this is going to be good. How'd that work out for him?
The footnotes are very clear on this. He failed. Miserably.
I'm not surprised. So who ended up opening the door?
The hat maker, in his demon form, just casually pushes it open.
Of course. Brute force over divine intervention.
Pretty much sums it up. But wait, it gets weirder. Inside the chamber, they find this altar.
An altar. Intriguing.
With this inscription that talks about, blood sacrifice.
But magic. Always a touchy subject. And who ends up making this sacrifice? Don't tell me Maximilian, bravely offering his own blood for the greater good.
You'd think, right. But no, it's Atreus.
Atreus, the ever-loyal squire.
Hmm.
Interesting. So he's chosen to make this sacrifice, or is he volunteered?
It's not entirely clear, but he does step up.
Loyalty or coercion? The lines are blurred.
And guess who gets the potions that appear as a reward?
Let me guess. The chosen hero himself.
You know it?
Of course. A leader must be well-equipped, even if it's at the expense of his followers.
But here's the thing. The footnotes mention that Atreus is, weakened after the sacrifice.
Ah, there's always a price for magic, isn't there?
And a little.
Right.
Off. In what way?
Like something's not quite right with him.
It's like he's been, I don't know, cursed or something.
That's a good word for it.
Yeah.
But Maximilian, oblivious as ever, doesn't seem to notice. Typical. Too busy basking in his own glory to notice the suffering of others.
So they press on, deeper into the dungeon, and the atmosphere gets, really heavy.
Heavier. How so?
You can practically feel the ancient evil,
Ooh, I love a good creepy dungeon vibe.
They end up in this vast hall with these 3 massive statues.
Statues, huh? What kind of statues?
They're like these imposing figures, all decked out in armor, holding weapons.
Sounds intimidating.
And of course, there's another locked door.
Of course there is. Never a straightforward path in these dungeons.
Maximilian, being Maximilian, is more interested in checking his reflection in a nearby mirror than, actually paying attention to anything.
All it's gotta look good, even when facing ancient evil.
Priorities. Meanwhile, the hat maker discovers this treasure chest tucked away behind one of the statues.
Ooh, treasure. What's inside?
This amazing axe, practically glowing with power.
An axe, huh? And who claims this prize?
It's like the axe is calling out to Atreus.
Interesting. A powerful weapon appearing just when Atreus is at his most vulnerable.
Right, but here's the thing. The hat maker doesn't want anything in return.
Wait, what? That's not how these things usually work. There's always a price, a bargain to be struck.
Maximilian is completely confused by this, act of generosity.
I can imagine. It goes against everything he believes about the world.
He even tries to trade the hat maker this ruby he found earlier.
No,
Hat maker refuses.
It's unexpected. It suggests a depth to the hat maker's character that we haven't fully explored. Maybe he's not the stereotypical demon we assume him to be.
That's a good point, right? There's definitely more to him than meets the eye.
Layers upon layers. I love it.
But meanwhile, Maximilian is still admiring himself in the mirror, completely missing this whole exchange.
Of course he is. Lost in his own little world.
And Atreus, well, he sees this axe and something in him just snaps.
Snaps? What do you mean?
This overwhelming desire to possess it takes over.
Possession, huh? That sounds ominous.
He tries to take it from the hat maker by force.
By force. Wow, Atreus is not messing around. It's like this curse or whatever it is really starting to affect him.
And while all this is going down, Harrow is trying to figure out how to open the locked door.
Leave it to Harrow to cause a little mayhem.
She puts a staff on one of the statue's hands and bam, she gets hit with a poison dart.
Classic dungeon trap. Gotta love those.
And guess what?
What?
Atreus, seeing what happened to Harrow, decides to try the same thing.
Oh, Atreus, no. Didn't he learn anything from watching Harrow's mishap?
Apparently not. He tries it with his new axe and, surprise, surprise, also gets hit with a poison dart.
This party is a walking disaster waiting to happen. They really need to work on their situational awareness.
It's a work in progress, let's say. But thankfully, Fawn figures out the puzzle.
Fawn, saving the day again. What was the solution?
It involved placing specific objects on the statue's hands in a certain order.
The classic riddle-based door lock, a staple of dungeon design.
Right. And after everyone else has taken their turn getting shot with poison darts, Maximilian finally steps in and solves the puzzle.
Naturally. Always there to claim the credit, even if he had nothing to do with it.
He's a master of timing, so they go through the door, and
What'll waste them on the other side? Another challenge, another treasure.
an empty room.
An empty room. That's anticlimactic.
Right. But Maximilian, instead of being disappointed, decides this is the perfect opportunity to polish the scratch on his shield.
Priorities. World could be ending, but got to keep that shield shiny.
Exactly. While he's busy buffing, Harrow and the Hatmaker discover a secret passage and find a scroll.
Secret passage. Ooh, intrigue intensifies.
Yeah.
And Maximilian misses all this, I presume.
You know it. Completely engrossed in his shield polishing duty.
Classic. Blinded by his own vanity.
But things are about to get a lot creepier. They enter this chamber filled with sarcophagi.
Sarcophagi. Oh, that's never a good time.
The atmosphere is like thick with ancient evil, you know?
You could practically smell the dust and decay through the narrative.
Right. And Atreus naturally is drawn to the unknown.
Always got to poke the metaphorical bear.
He picks up this cursed crystal orb and is instantly weakened.
Cursed objects. They never lead to anything good.
But in a rare act of selflessness, Maximilian takes a cursed black pyramid to protect Atreus.
Wait, a cursed black pyramid? That sounds like trouble.
And Fawn finds a luck stone.
A luck stone, huh? Let's hope they need all the luck they can get.
Well, as soon as they touch the objects, the central sarcophagus bursts open.
Of course it does. What pops out?
This armored figure, like something out of a nightmare, rises from the tomb.
Oh, lovely. Just what they needed.
And it's flanked by, like, a horde of undead creatures.
An undead army. This is getting out of hand.
It's chaos, pure chaos. Maximilian tries to bless the party for battle.
About time he put those divine powers to good use.
But in a classic Maximilian blunder, he blesses the wrong people.
Wouldn't be Maximilian if he didn't mess something up.
Amidst all the chaos, Maximilian, for the first time, realizes he's outmatched.
Wait, self-awareness?
Yeah.
Is that even possible for Maximilian?
It's a Christmas miracle. He actually focuses on keeping his companions alive, healing them while they fight.
Character development. We'd love to see it.
But it's a brutal fight. Harrow is blasting spells left and right. Fawn is using her shape-shifting to, like, outmaneuver the undead.
Go fun.
Atreus,
That's better.
fueled by his new axe and maybe some dark magic, is fighting like a berserker.
That curse is definitely not doing him any favors.
And the Hatmaker, well, he's a whirlwind of demonic fury just slicing through the undead.
Sounds like quite the spectacle.
They eventually manage to defeat the Horde, exhausted but victorious.
A hard-won victory. But at what cost?
That's the question, right? They discover this large crystal in the sarcophagus.
A crystal. What kind of crystal?
It's like leaking magic into the chamber, but it also feels, corrupted.
Power and corruption, two sides of the same coin.
And then they realize what they're dealing with.
What?
A sealed portal to the abyss, the realm of demons.
The abyss. Oh boy. Things just got real. How does Maximilian react to this discovery?
He sees it as his destiny, naturally. The chosen hero has to save the world from demonic invasion.
Of course he does. It all makes sense now.
But before they can even attempt that, they have to navigate a cursed library, a hall of mirrors, and face off against a wraith.
A cursed library, a hall of mirrors, and a wraith. This sounds like a recipe for a disaster, even for our chosen hero.
Oh, you have no idea. Just wait until you hear about the fire-breathing chipmunk.
A fire-breathing chipmunk. You can't just drop a bombshell like that and not elaborate.
Don't worry, we'll get to that. But first, we've got a cursed library to explore.
Lead the way. All right, a cursed library. Lay it on me. What kind of literary horrors await our intrepid heroes?
So they step into this library, right? And the air is thick with, like, the smell of old parchment and, I don't know, maybe a hint of decay.
A fitting aroma for a repository of forbidden knowledge.
Right. And Maximilian, in a moment of, Maximilianness, decides this is the perfect time to declare his oath of glory.
An oath of glory. Does this involve more bragging about his non-existent skills?
Pretty much. He basically tells everyone that they're now his apprentices and that he'll, like, generously allow them to share in his glory.
Of course he does. Humility is not his strong suit.
Atreus, bless him, tries to suggest a different oath, maybe something a little more, practical.
Practicality.
Yeah.
In a Maximilian von Peerless V story, never gonna happen.
You're telling me Maximilian completely ignores him.
Shocking, I know. So what happens next? Does the library unleash its literary wrath upon them?
You know it, but not in the way you might think. Get this, they're attacked by a mimic.
A mimic. Those things are nasty. Didn't see that coming.
Right, it goes straight for the Hatmaker, bites him on the arm.
Ouch, a demon with a mimic bite. That's got to sting.
Maximilian tries to fight it, with his divine powers and all.
How'd that go?
About as well as you expect. It's actually Atreus who kills it.
Atreus. How does he manage to take down a mimic?
Rips its lid off with his bare hands.
With his bare hands. Okay, that's hardcore. This curse is really amping up his aggression.
It's kind of scary, honestly. Like, who is this guy anymore?
Yeah, the Atreus we met at the start seems like a distant memory.
But amidst all the chaos, they managed to loot another treasure chest.
There's always more treasure to be found.
And they find this massive tome, like right in the middle of the room.
A mysterious book in a cursed library. What could possibly go wrong?
Atreus, because why not, opens it.
Oh, Atreus. Curiosity might not kill the cat in this case, but it could unleash some serious magical mayhem.
Well, it's not like a monster or anything pops out.
Okay, so what is it?
It's a vision, like a glimpse into the past.
A vision of the past. What do they see?
It shows this group of adventurers, right? Sealing the very same portal to the abyss that Maximilian is so obsessed with.
Wow, so they're not the first to face this threat. A long line of heroes and demons, eh?
Exactly. But here's the thing. The vision also shows that, like, dark tendrils of corruption seeped out of the portal even after it was sealed.
So sealing the portal isn't a permanent solution. The corruption lingers.
And it's like planting the seeds for the very evil they're now fighting.
A chilling reminder that evil is insidious, persistent. It finds a way.
Right. So they close the book, kind of shaken by the whole thing, and head into this Hall of Mirrors.
Hall of Mirrors, always a good time, especially in a cursed library.
And of course, the mirrors are cursed.
Naturally. What do? Show everyone their deepest fears.
Worse, their reflections come to life and attack them.
Oh, that's just mean. Fighting your own reflection. Talk about psychological warfare.
Maximilian is freaking out because he thinks he's facing the greatest warrior ever known.
Because...
Himself, obviously.
Of course. Who else could it be? So does he finally meet his match?
Not quite. The mirror clone shatters. Turns out it was just an illusion.
Another blow to the ego, I imagine.
You know it. But as luck would have it, he stumbles upon what he believes to be the mirror shield of the chosen hero.
Wait, another legendary artifact? And is it actually legendary?
The footnotes clarify that it's just a regular mirror shield.
Color me shocked. But hey, at least it's shiny.
Right. So they finally reach the portal to the abyss, this swirling vortex of, like, pure evil energy.
The moment of truth. Showdown time. What's the plan? How do they seal this thing?
Maximilian, being Maximilian, charges ahead, ready to face the forces of darkness.
Head first into danger, as always.
Atreus starts to bless the party for battle.
Okay, they're going to need all the help they can get.
And then Harrow asks to see Maximilian's pet chipmunk.
Wait, what? A chipmunk
And
at a time like this?
I know, right? It's completely out of left field.
Talk about a mood shift from epic showdown to chipmunk appreciation.
But it gets even weirder. Maximilian, kind of flustered, hands over the chipmunk. Harrow touches its head.
Then
The chipmunk breathes fire.
a fire-breathing chipmunk. Okay, this officially takes the cake for the weirdest thing I've ever heard.
So they face off against the Wraith, and it's this epic battle, all flashing lights and magical energy.
I bet. Light versus darkness, good versus evil. The classic struggle.
Maximilian is fighting bravely, but it's the chipmunk that's doing the most damage.
The fire-breathing chipmunk. The savior of the world. Who could have predicted that?
Right. They eventually defeat the Wraith, and Maximilian comes out of it with this new ability.
A new ability. What can he do now? Fly? Talk to animals?
He can detect corruption.
Detect corruption, huh? That's actually pretty useful, especially in this world.
Right. It's like he can finally see the truth behind the illusions.
Maybe there's hope for him yet. So they defeated the Wraith, sealed the portal, saved the world. The end.
Not quite. They emerge from the dungeon, all beat up but victorious, and this mysterious sage appears.
A mysterious sage. What does he want? To offer cryptic advice. To point them towards a new quest.
All of the above. He congratulates them on defeating the Wraith, but warns them that this is just the beginning.
Of course it is. There's always a bigger bad lurking in the shadows.
He tells them that the ancient god of corruption, Maltharis, is trying to escape from the abyss.
Maltharis. Sounds like a delightful fellow.
And that they need to find 3 legendary weapons to seal the portal permanently.
3 legendary weapons. Well, that's convenient. Just what they need for their next adventure.
Right. So there you have it. The saga of Maximilian von Peerless V continues. Will they find the weapons? Can they stop Maltharis from escaping? Will Maximilian finally learn to be a real hero?
Only time and more hilarious footnotes will tell. This has been a wild ride. I'm exhausted just listening to it.
Me too. But that's the beauty of these writings, right? They're absurd, they're hilarious, but they also make you think. It's like a satirical commentary on, heroism and destiny and all that.
Exactly. It's a story that challenges our expectations, makes us laugh, makes us think, and leaves us wanting more. What more could you ask for?
Well said. And on that note, I think it's time for us to take a break, maybe grab a drink, and contemplate the absurdity of it all.
Sounds like a plan. Until next time, folks, keep those footnotes coming.
And remember, always be wary of fire-breathing chipmunks.